Down the centre of the course, bumping into Young Verta below the 200. Just folk up to En Francais, but Captain Envious runs on by. Captain Envious, 2 lengths, 3 lengths, coming clear. Captain Envious won the Ballarat Cup.
Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot, in our finale for 2023. It feels like an absolute marathon. How are you, Walt?
Good, mate. I was one of the people who had to leave the country of Spywire 1 yesterday, so I'm up and about. It could have ended differently, but...
Schiller the Thriller.
Schiller the Thriller never
think?
ceases to amaze. They reckon, what are those books, the Tom Clancy books? They're going to write a new one about him where he'd be one of those, he'll be the new lawyer that goes into Alabama and gets someone off for triple murder or something. They reckon he was very good in the room.
I don't think it would have made a difference. I think the other horse wins anyway, personally.
I don't think it matters. I think did he give the horse its chance? They basically said they were aiming up to see whether it cost it the race, which was whatever it was, a length and a half.
Yeah. Because
they can't be certain he cost it the race, he gets no punishment.
Wow.
So they're saying it was maybe a 1.49 he didn't get. But I think that rule needs to be tidied up heavily. That
should have got a fine.
I haven't had one person say to me that he gave the horse its chance. It went fast early. He never sort of touched it. He never got it going. He sort of sat up on it. And then if he says that the horse, he was worried about it doing something, why did he give it extra vigour when Tommy loomed up outside him if he was worried about it 200 metres earlier? How do you explain that? But yeah, it was a shock. It was a shocker for mine.
It was an absolute beauty. Yeah, you boys in Melbourne, did you seen it through social media or seen it live?
You go, Nico. You know the answer for me.
Yeah.
They do race in New South Wales, DK.
Albury's all right. Don't mind Albury and Narandra in those joints.
Rockhampton, that's on DK's.
Yeah, Rocky. Oh,
list.
yeah.
That's his new favourite track. But you would have thought if a rider like Nash or someone was on it, he would have got plenty out of it. But I think that's what you get with Schiller. He seems a bit hit and miss at the best of times. So you put in a few bad ones over the carnival. And, yeah, I was very surprised that they didn't take any further action. Like, if he was an apprentice, they definitely would have. Isn't he still an apprentice?
Yeah,
I'm not. It seems like the worse you ride it in Sydney, the more likely you keep the ride. If you ride a good ride, they boot you off anyway. I can't understand the jockey bookings in Sydney. It's a complete shambles, I reckon.
Like when they gave like Huey time for going too fast, Reggie time for going too fast, but then you sit up on one, give it no chance, and then nothing.
And you get a 3-page essay to why we're not convinced that you gave it its chance, but we're not sure if you cost it the race. So play on.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not picking on Tyler, it's the rule. It's just the inconsistency from, they're big on perception, aren't they? But not in certain circumstances. It's definitely not picking on Tyler. Like I think he should have got time personally, but I'm not a steward. It's up to them, but it's just consistency.
It's crazy. The steward reports leave a lot to be desired at the moment, and especially in New South Wales. Something I didn't have in my bingo card last week was Chris Waller coming out saying he's not sold on Horsley Park and casting a bit of doubt on support about Rose Hill. I would have thought
and the huge backing of the Melbourne stuff too, right? And significantly positive about a straight comparison to what they're building down there, how trainers are building an asset for themselves in a lot of situations, whereas in Sydney that's not available. And you'd have to be an imbecile not to contemplate moving your operation to there. It was, and then talk about punters as the cherry on top, wasn't it? It was incredible.
Yeah, he might be starting to lose his grip on the throne, old PVL, and it was interesting. I thought he'd be over in America promoting the NRL, given he's heavily invested in his time at NRL, but yeah, he's up at Hong Kong.
He sent Aaron Woods and Campbell
instead. So he's wearing a couple of hats, but
that scares me though that they're pushing heavily for this World Tote to come in here, which I think would be one of the biggest disasters in the history of the world.
But the tote's gone already in Australia. So
yeah, but why do we want one single 125 tote? Well, how would that help anyone? You know, recreational punters at the moment betting into 130, or they're betting into best tote, which is probably closer to 110, and a bit of a no-brainer. Much easier for anyone that's recreational to gain some sort of an advantage from best tote compared to trying to catch the right price with a horse they want to back. So I think for recreation it'd be a big bad defeat.
Self-interest though, if it was just a merit-based and turnover-based rebate, you'd chime into it, you'd steam into it, you'd take it, wouldn't you?
I don't honestly these days. I don't bet big enough to get to the levels of, because I'm not a big turnover based person. I'm more about picking the eyes out and having a go when I think there's one there. But I'm not. It'll probably help and I'm just churning like a Kingsley sort of churning lower percentage on turnover player than I think it would someone like me. But tote for me is not a big concern. But I think it is for recreationals, and keeping them in the game keeps everyone in the game. So, I think 125 is a lot harder to bet into than 117 or whatever we are.
DK, would you smash into the tote? You're obviously a very secretive sort of guy. I think a rebate would suit you, and just throw your chips in late on the table.
I'm like, well, personally, my mentality of punting is picking the eyes out of it. But if there was a rebate available like that, I'd be straight into it. That'd be probably the thing that'd get me over the line of getting in with a programmer or something like that and coming up with some sort of model and just ploughing in and getting the turnover up and the margin down and copping the rebate and getting an earn out of that. I think that's be the way I'd go there.
Well, I don't know what it is. So say they were getting 7, 8, 9% when it was 115, which is 117 here. I don't know what their rebate is off 125. You'd have to be pretty good still to bet through it. So
maybe it gets up to 12 or 15. We'll find out, and we might open up next year's show with a couple of answers, because we are in touch with a few people that could solve that riddle for us. I thought the Gold Coast track was interesting. The new surface and the Canberra track looks much bigger, and the jockeys were pretty happy turning the corner. It's always been a bit of a hairpin turn and a bit yucky, but it looks great.
It looks softer, didn't it? Obviously, it was on speed, and a lot of new tracks are on speed, but from a visual perspective, they didn't kick much up. It didn't look like they're going to chop into it. Hopefully they won't
smash it.
Yeah, hopefully they won't
overdo it.
Yeah, other than that, it definitely looked at an improvement, didn't it? Like the as you said, camber and makeup of the physical track looked an improvement. Hopefully when it settles, it'll be a nice even track. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it looks absolutely sensational. And Donnie found an absolute beauty. What was it? Alakai Swamp was $26 into $6. So he found a rort on the new deck, which was great. And the Syndicate is absolutely flying. So Little Birdie Syndicate with me, Donnie and Nico, plus 131 units for the year. So if you're a $100 unit punter, you'd be pocketing 11,500. So monster achievement from the boys, and absolutely on fire. So I don't think we're going to stop betting. So it's never too late just to catch the next tram and just keep betting with us. So if you want to give your bookie a bit of curry, get on board, because I'm sure as hell enjoying knocking the markets around. And Donnie last week, absolute nearly bet of the year. There's been a couple of big roughies, but 26 into $6 is hard to argue. Walt, a little hat tip for you. Lock Eagle emergency.
I think my quote of "I'd rather get stabbed in the balls than bet in the race" sort of. It was when it snuck into the field, it changed the game a little bit, but it was a good result. It was a good ride, wasn't it? It was. Geez, that horse is that Sarah Ryan. Holy crap! What's the
attractable?
Attractable.
Whoa!
Yeah. Oh my God! What a run on speed! Like it's dead set. It's found every race where it's had competition, fast speeds, up on speed. I think it's carried Reggie most of the time. And it's just like, how good. It's a dead set. You couldn't, it's nearly a weight for age horse the way it's going. It's incredible.
I think, my notes was something like, let's see this horse in a Group 1 1400 next prep.
Especially in a weight for age race where say Zaki's gone and no alligator blood, or even he doesn't go too fast. I think Attractable lead alligator blood pretty easy. And wow, he can do pretty good things. He's a pretty special horse, I think.
Outstanding. Nico, on the other spectrum, they're a little bit slower, but a couple of 6 beats in Tassie last week. I did see Emily Burke kick home winner last night, but I think we're going to have a bit of a spell until the new year with the Tassie previews. But you're back in the chair with Caulfield, and a little strange one here. We've got Caulfield Thursday and Saturday. I think the rail's going to stay in the same position, so it'll be very wary if you're betting into both those meetings, especially off the back of rain.
No bias in Caulfield ever. So those 2 meetings will race absolutely straight to straight. Will they shoot straight? They'll shoot straight.
Yeah, so that'd be good.
Yep.
Trav's going to dial back in the show. He was all over Captain Envious last week. Tell you what, egg on my face. I didn't think it would run the strong 2000, but it ate the mud. It absolutely swum like a duck. So, I didn't enjoy that, but I was sort of
it's not DK's old horse, is it? No,
quick to congratulate. No. Yes, I think DK found it start too.
Was it him or the other one, Poison Charles?
Yeah.
Which one was it?
No, it was Captain Envious quite a while ago.
Yeah, way back. Yeah.
Buckley horse, is it?
Went like a rocket down the straight there the other day. Bloody hell.
Mudlark, isn't it? Yeah, so I got that one.
Anyway,
Right.
Prushka, mate. Prushka flying.
I reckon it was the old JP Voodoo Dolls came out too, or he was on Foxy Cleopatra in Sydney, and they told him it was coming up, and then it didn't. And geez, I tell you what, when someone gets on the wrong side of JP, their horses just don't make the bend. He's the best.
And Williamsburg nearly bobbed up at 20s for the TopSport Steamers, so hopefully there's some value to be had there. Make sure you support TopSport. Big thanks to them for the whole year that's been family-owned and operated for the last 40 years, so make sure you bet Australian and get around the TopSport team. Nico, as we said, Caulfield, it's got the double header Thursday, but you won't be there today, but you'll be out there Saturday, and race 4 is the first best bet you found. It's the Batocchi, simply the best hams, benchmark 78, 1,400 metres, and running by is the favourite here. Dylan Brown McGonigal, Matthew McGonigal's half-brother there, $2.35. A long-time dream and $5. Rumbled again, $5. Najeko, $9.50. Frenchman's Bay, $9.50. Quong Tri, $10. Belmia, $12. And then you're getting $20 about the, or better, the other two in the market, but Dylan Brown rides a favourite here in running by, and that's the one you like.
Yeah, I thought this was a huge run. First up, it was a day where you pretty much had to lead at Sandown, and the leader, South of House, and has a bit of form. I think she's got a fair bit of ability, and running by, I nearly backed her on this day, but I thought she had a bit of improvement to come from the yard, and I think she's still a huge run in defeat. Really ripped home. Quickest last, 8, 6 and 4. Fifth fastest last 2. So I think she probably just peaks on her run here, but she's done a fair bit of work to get into the race in inferior ground. The third horse, Masterful, runs today. The fifth horse, Capri Romina, also runs today. So you get a bit of a guide on the form there. But I thought it was a terrific first up run. You go back to the end of last campaign, she probably should have won the Bendigo Guineas again against the bias. Started 850 against Benedetta in the English Sprint. There's just a lot of meat to her form, DK, and I think this is a race that probably doesn't have too many opposition. She looks a progressive mare. There's not a lot of speed here, but I think from barrier 6, the rider can probably keep her out of trouble, and I think the rider might get you a better price as well. If this was one of their real go-tos for the stable, she probably would start $2.30. I could see her probably starting $2.50 or $2.60 with him aboard, and I think she's a really good bet.
Yeah, no, I couldn't disagree, Nico. I think she must have had a few barrier issues or behaviour issues. I see she went to Julian Welch's a couple of times early in her career and back and forth. So I thought she trialled up the Lux before that first up run, and she franked it with the run. My query was the rider, so I went and had a good look at him. And I don't know if you click on him there on the punting form, Nico, but he's ridden for a lot of Australian trainers. That's what I thought when I first looked at it, but he actually hasn't. He's ridden a lot of imports that have ended up out here. Like, he rode Valiant King when he won his maiden, and then he won, I think he won again in his Class 1. He came out to the Caulfield Cup. He's ridden Charterhouse. He's ridden Tara Mansour. A lot of horses we know over here that were over there but have ended up over here. Look, he hasn't ridden a winner for Mar yet, but he's got his hoof firmly on the till, as we say. He's ridden about 6 seconds or 5 seconds. The way he rode it the other day, I think he'll get the job done. He looks a class rider, so I wouldn't have any worry about the rider to me, Nico.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, if a few of those other races went his way, like he could have rode 4 winners and everyone would be talking him up huge, and because he hasn't, I think there's a bit of a worry on him. There's a few of the horses you rode yesterday at Mornington, maybe because of him or other circumstances, did drift. So I think he's just a bit of an unknown at the moment.
Well, when he was over in the UK, plenty of rights for Joseph O'Brien, which is one of the leading stables.
Yeah,
he's not like coming out here like a Neil Farley or someone, and they do a good job. Neil Farley, Declan Bates, middle tier riders, let alone one of the top riders coming out. So so I wouldn't be worried about the rider. That looks a good play to me.
Yeah, so I'd be very happy taking 230, but I think we will see better. So just happy to bet the drift and bet up.
Looks a complete target race, this one, or a great stepping stone to something bigger. So I think it's definitely the way to go there, Nico. Well found. Caulfield race 9 is the next one. Looks a deep race. This one, though, Aradonte is $4.20 favourite. Bermudez $4.60. Dubai Poet $6. Tunner Grit $6.50. Gravina $9. Michael Leaf at $10. Beretta $11. Pasiro $13. Then you got Pal de Oro $16 on option, $18, and $41 for their rank outsider. Turn on the charm. First up for Lindsay. Replay we're going to have a look at is Ton of Grit, and bit of a break since this run. It's in the Rupert Lee colours.
Yeah, I think this was maybe Cup Day or one of the. I think it was Cup Day. It wasn't probably the best day to be back towards the inside. You see Bermudez coming down the outside here in the purple. They meet again in this race. Dubai Pod's in the yellow. Pasiro ends up winning. He's also in this race. But I thought Ton of Grit did a good job first up. He was slowly away, probably in the inferior ground, and I thought still did pretty well to stick on for 5th there. And just looking at this race, I think he's pretty well set up here. A lot of these horses like Aradonte, he's probably a bit better on the wet ground. Gravina the same. Then you look at a horse like Bermudez, he hasn't won for a while. So I think Ton of Grit gets a really good setup. Barrier number 5, staying down on the minimum. His last Caulfield run, he ran second to St. Lawrence. In third was Barbie's Fox. That form reads very well. Second up winner. Yeah, I just thought he ticked a lot of boxes in a race where you could probably put a few other holes in the horses that were a little bit shorter than him. And at $6, I think you could probably have, something small on him at those odds, thinking it's over the odds. It's a pretty open race, but I thought you could probably mark him shorter, just given there's a few ticks for him second up from the map and informed jockey on. So around 650 looked over the odds to me.
Yeah, it did seem an open race when I looked at it, Nico. But concur, he looks an improver into the race, and I think that's the right race, that Flemington race. They're coming in here fresh out of that, so they must have had limited options on the calendar. I thought there wasn't much speed, so I thought a thing like out of the same race, Dubai Poet could run well. He's wanted the front the last two and been run into 2 of Gaze for Reddy and whatever the thing was that led him up in that race at Flemington. So he's had to hand up to them because the gay things are going hard. Before that, he led and won. Prior to that, he's in that really hot amenable form race at Caulfield. So I thought there's some chance he might get the front, get his own way.
Blinkers,
and blinkers. Well, I love the blinkers. So yeah, I thought he was again poking holes in a few others. I thought that race at Flemington set up for swoopers like Bermudez and Passero. So I think maybe Dubai Poet gets forward and leads, and Ton of Grit sits somewhere not far off it behind it, and they might fight it out with a bit of luck.
I sort of half found Gravina. I thought he's definitely looking for 1400, rock hard fit. And then Michael D. Barrier 3, I thought he could sit closer. And then trying to poke a hole in the favourite, Aradonte, I thought he might be looking for 1600 metres now, and 420 just looked a bit skinny for a horse that's going to be back, as DK says, with a horse like Bermudez and a mile out of their ground. So, yeah, I think horses a little bit closer or with the favourable draws could be the way to go there.
Gravina, he's Valana 2.0.
Is he?
Cactus. I think they'll both be on the Magic Millions clearance sale coming Christmas time.
Yeah, what is weird. I lost my chubby when Nico didn't find it because he's Mr. Blue Jacket. So
the Blues they're a bit quiet. There's a few 2-year-olds floating, but they're a bit quiet at the moment.
They
got a big hand on Saturday. They got Traffic Warden in the first. It's $1.80. And Jambalaya, I think he's $1.90. So they do have a great record at Caulfield, the Blue Jackets. So
ooh. Yeah, no bias, see? That's why.
Nico is going to drop his, it is already there, his Telegram free for the next couple of weeks. So nice little Christmas present for everyone. The Discord channel, if you can't figure out how to get into Discord and you're a bit of a fossil, make sure you DM us on Little Birdie TV on our Twitter account and we'll flick you the link. So nice gesture for Nico because he's going to punch through till Boxing Day and sort it all out at Caulfield and obviously the midweekers. So if you're a newbie and you want a free lick of the ice cream, make sure you get Nico's Telegram for the Mount Yard Mail. He'll have the last word. And as he said, Traffic Warden looks an interesting runner for Jay Carr and the Blue Jackets in race 1, and he'll be able to tell you if it goes to pieces or not. So that's it. Very exciting. So we all love Nico's Telegram service, so make sure you check it out. Walt, it was pretty hot going last Saturday up in Sydney. Forecast looks pretty good, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, there was rain there. It's disappeared, so hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, outstanding. We're going to kick off in the first race. It's the James Squire Handicap over 1,100 metres, and Amazing Eagle is the favourite here at $1.50. Traffic Warden's come out this morning, so...
yeah, and I did try and cast it, and you said stay in balls deep, so yeah, $1.50 already scares me. This would be enough for my preview normally, but we'll continue on.
We'll battle on. Anoda's $5.50, Tardelli $6, Moonraker $10, and much better. The rest, Amazing Eagle is the trial we're going to have a look at. It's out in front in the yellow, but it won't race in these colours on Saturday, to my knowledge.
Yeah, so Johnny Moore, I think, owns it, where he's part of the ownership, and I know they wanted to give this horse a bit of a sound out here, potentially with the idea to possibly sell it, and then it did this, and no longer for sale. So, yeah, he trolled like an absolute rock. You see Tim's very keen to him there, and even when he's bowled down, he's still racing away from those horses.
Nice action, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that Traffic Warden comes out. I thought it was drawn pretty awkwardly there, and they've, obviously potentially pulled the right rein heading to Caulfield because giving this horse a start, I think it'd be pretty tough. It's drawn perfectly outside of Rachel Schumacher there. So, if she wants to take it on, like if Tim had a drawn inside her and she wanted to declare him on, it might have caused the only real possible issue in the race. But Tim outside, he'll, pretty fast horse. If it jumps and has the natural speed to cross, he will. If Rachel wants to kick up inside, he can just sit outside it. And I'd be very surprised if it's losing the race. Obviously, $1.50 now. It's entitled to be that way. But if it gets out to 170, 180, it's probably something that you can throw in your multis pretty comfortably, I'd say, and get to see a pretty decent horse run around. I think he's heading to the Magic Millions, so he'd want to be impressive on Saturday.
Do you think it's going to be $1.70, $1.80, or the syndicates are going to jam it into Royal Merchant odds at $1.28?
Well, it was $2 plus this morning. They'd already drifted it a touch. I think it sort of opened up 180, 190 and already got to $2. So maybe it's realistic. It should. Yeah, you just never know these days, do you, like you say? But Royal Merchant just, Blind Freddie could find it on ratings. So all of those guys just get a bit wound up, don't they? And a bit of FOMO, and all of a sudden they go 170 to 130. So it's not what it used to be.
Probably wouldn't want it again. Nico, I know you're a busy man, but you do sniff around these 2-year-old trials a fair bit. Is there any chinks here, or is Tassie your new love? Tassie form, TF?
Oh, Tassie's hard at the moment, and I got another weird event last night at Launceston with a bias track and a real wet track at that. So it's tricky going. But, I did see that trial and thought it was pretty good work because I saw Traffic Warden was in it both venues, so I had a little bit of a look. I've just found it interesting with these 2-year-olds recently, like even Spywire yesterday and a few of the others, how short they are early in the betting. Like, it hasn't even had a run. It's $1.50. It just seems like what I was saying, pretty much just complete fake price, isn't it? Like, it's just crazy that they could even be that short now. But I suppose it's just all the bookies trying to get all the mugs into multis and all that short because they just drift deluxe from those prices usually. So, it'd be
I thought we'd get 6 to 4 with Traffic Warden in the race, potentially. I thought we'd get a decent price. So, off we got evens. Like you say, even then, it feels icky, doesn't it? Chiming into a first starter. To me, it does anyway.
No, well, if Wally's tipping it, it's not going to get out. I think it's a chips in jobby. I think we back it with a bit of confidence. The inevitable was he set him a bit of a task last night, Nico, and the slop, and just couldn't reel in indispensable.
Yeah, had the bias against him. It was a good night to be up there on speed, and then he had the chance to go inside and decided to come to the outside lanes. And once he did that, you knew he was never winning. So probably got him beat at $1.25, which is what the punters didn't want. I think it was $1.60 into $1.20 or something. So he was off the map. But I think the bias probably beat him last night as well.
He's copped some steers in his time for such a good horse, isn't he? Holy heck.
It is sad. Randwick Race 6 is the next one. It's the TopSport handicap over 1,100 metres, and Boston Rocks is the favourite. Timmy, again, $2.90 into $2.45, and $6 for Union Army. Second in the market, Accredited $7, Silent Raindrops $10, Marshall Music $12, Infatuation $15, and then you got King of Dubai $15, Castilian $17, and Fine Vintage at $18. There's 2 replays we're going to have a look at here. Union Army, there's its trial here. It's in the red and yellow with the white sleeves.
So slow trial overall time. They sort of get home pretty well, but you see how well this horse travels. One of Gerald's in front, I think it's called Emancipus. It's got a pretty good sharp turn of foot in it as well, so it's a good horse to measure up, but just in a decent last section to show that he's come back very well, very fresh. So he is pricked. He moved into it quick. That's all you want to see, really, from this sort of horse. It did bleed last time. Some people believe that they get them fitter or whatever, but often it's just they don't know they're a bleeder before it, so they treat them a little bit differently. So I don't think that's only a positive for him. First up here, there is a little bit of a concern, gate 1, but I do think there's a lot of speed and a lot of cheap speed. There's horse that maybe a little bit weak late. I think Marshall Music, if it jumps and makes Boston Rocks work, I think that's sort of the key to the race. And then you've got a few drawn wide that hopefully add a bit of spice early as well. It's sort of Infatuation, Amnesty. Accredited may have to sort of push the button. Monty Supreme showed a bit of speed on debut. King of Dubai led away last start as well. So hopefully there's enough pressure there. And our man Jason Collett, he's a genius from gate 1 at times. But, hopefully he can put the left blinker on at some point here, because I think there will be traffic in front of him, and I think he's going to have plenty of horse to work with. So I think he should be. I think he's the best horse in the race, clearly. Boston Rocks is There's no real knock on him for mine. He did a good job last prep, sort of won over 1,000 and stepped straight to 1,200, set outside the leader and won, which is not easy to do. So he's a horse with a bit of scope, but I just hope that he doesn't get his own way here and he's a bit vulnerable, fresh, sort of over the 1,100 and Union Army's nice and strong. That's the play for me.
Let's have a look at the roughie here in the blinkers.
Fine vintage. So chasing another one of Doyle's out in front. So it's coming 3 wide here in the white cap, the second of the, what are they called? I can't remember. How am I going? What are these places called? Derby syndication horses.
Yeah.
So Luke Pepper got this horse off Gary Portelli and he's just gone bang, bang, bang with it in 3 decent races, country like Class 1 benchmark 58, then stepped up to an open 82 there. Amy McLucas rides, I got no issue there.
Anna Roper's ridden it 4 times in a row for wins.
Yeah, which is a great sign for a horse, right?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's it. So good tracks are very important to this horse. I think Luke's definitely improved the horse somewhat. Did a bit wrong in that race. It's going and it's super strong through the line. You know, staying in the same sort of distance range. It looks like he's worked out the horse loves to be a little bit fresh, sort of 45 days between runs there. It's 33 days between runs here. Just looks a ridiculous price to me for a horse that can settle some. If they go quick, I think it'll be sort of 5th, 6th. If they don't go as fast as I anticipate, might sit just behind the lead. So pretty adaptable horse. McChicken's doing a good job. I can't see any downside. I was just pretty shocked that it was, $18, $19. There were just other horses in the race that are half its price that I would be keener to back fine vintage. And, you know, sometimes that country form's not great, but sort of stringing 4 together in a row is not easy these days. The way the benchmark system is, they're pretty savage on them. And to go sort of Class 1 58 to an open, and I think they've timed the run well to come to town and finds a nice race. It was like $18, something like that.
Yeah, big price.
So, yeah, happy to make them both winners and just hoping for as much pressure as possible that first 400 metres.
Thoughts on the Randwick card? Do you reckon it's a strong, decent card? I think it's one of the first days that we don't have $1 million race on the. Just seems weird that you've got a 1,600 metre race for 160,000.
Which would be the same field we would have got last week for $2 million. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's an off-season card. That's what you're going to work with. Just I'd rather work with these horses that should be racing this time of year than the ones that are stretched out for an extra 3 months chasing a race that shouldn't be on their radar.
There'd be a lot of trainers getting tangled up for that very reason. It just seems horses misplaced, and hopefully we can capitalise on that as punters.
I saw Waller put a tweet up, or someone to do with Waller, saying, Christmas present incoming from, I think it was Wild Oats Farm, and it's like Fangirl and those coming back from the spell. That's what probably 90% of those horses last week should be doing. They would have been in a paddock and getting ready for the autumn. So it's it just sets them back or stretches them out, whatever you want to do. It's just hard. But you don't have to bet in race you don't want to bet in.
No, and it's quite the case in Victoria at the moment. Just a gluttony of racing. Caulfield, Moonee Valley. Then you got it's just
we've got 10 races over the next 10 meetings in the next 4 days.
It's just huge. You just have to, and I guess with the way the landscape is, and the percentage on the board, I think you're just better off just to pick the eyes out and have limited bets, which sounds crazy.
But this used to be the half shutdown period for racing. Jockeys taking holidays, everyone's sort of gearing down, and now it's just gone crazy. Like New South Wales is no different. I think we already have 16 meetings last week or the week before, and you're averaging over 2 a day. It's pretty tough on participants as much as anyone.
Well, I think everyone's under the pump. It just feels like the spring's never ended. I feel like my head's going to blow off. Yeah. And
jockeys are even they're worried that they're going to miss a meeting, miss horses leading into Magic Millions and things like that. They're scared to have time off when, as punters, we want them to be fresh coming into the new year.
Yeah, July, as we sort of said before the show, July is sort of the only time that you can really have a bit of a break at the moment. And heaven forbid if they start putting more races there.
They will.
That'll be the end of us.
They will.
Yeah. Anyway.
Turnover.
All about turnover until it isn't, until it's about throwing Christmas parties. But if you want more of Walt's stuff, make sure you head to racingwatch.com.au. He's got the Discord channel with all the lunatics in it, and he's got the noise-free Telegram channel, so you can just get the tips and get his little short-form 1-minute previews on races. So I like those, and sometimes when I'm having a day off, I just look at the Telegram and disregard the Discord and keep about my business. So 2 good formats. So make sure you check out racingwatch.com.au.
And when you're up and about, you're in there bing bong banging. It's great.
Yes, I do. Yeah. I haven't been doing a lot of that the last couple of weeks. I mean,
honestly, I can't really. You haven't been betting that. No one's been betting that much to get the bing bong bangs. So that's been tough.
Well, it's hard. You look at it like yesterday at Wyong, classic example where there's just not much meat on the bone. So
$1.50 or lotteries, exactly.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's like tips is people are they want to bet, and you just feel like you just can't steer them into everything.
If I'm not betting.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be betting.
Exactly. Gun in the holster. Someone who's absolutely on fire is Trav Noonan. He joins us to talk about the Perth racing. So he's tipped the winner of the Ballarat Cup. So we've sacked him from Victoria and he's back at his box, back into Perth and in his own lane. How are you, mate?
Yeah, pretty well. Thanks, Scoot. Yeah, it was good to be on the right side of Victorian winner last week. I hadn't found one of them for a long time, but I was good with the Ballarat Cup and hoping we can extend that form into the last day of Ollie's riding career, of course, at Ascot. It's been a big farewell tour, Scoot, and I know you're a bit over it, but the GOAT finally sends off on Saturday.
They can't get him on a good horse. That's the funniest part about it all. Like, you think they could have got him on Zaki last week or something, couldn't you? Like, Christ almighty.
I think everyone's trying. It just goes to show how hard it is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey? Do you reckon?
I don't know. It's weird.
Do you reckon they've done enough of the Ollie? Like,
just give him one. Give him something. Give him something to work with.
No, I think it's been great. It has been good, but they've got absolute mileage out of it. But I don't think he's going to go away. I think he's going to take up a position with Ente.
Honestly, like what you love is who rode Lonhro its last start. Remember when they necked Lonhro for Grand Army, just dragged it out. I think it was Beedman just dragged it out when Lonhro's like $1.20 last start. You'd love Dolly to go out like that, just jag a $1.50 chance and just salute all the way down the straight. That'd be, I'd appreciate that.
I think they probably were trying to, I guess, get that situation happening in the Gold Rush, but then the barrier gods have given Moonamek the Barrow 17. So
yeah, it's brutal.
That horse is absolutely flying too, but we'll get to that race a little bit later. But fantastic achievement, Ollie, and no doubt we'll see plenty of him through the media because, he knows his stuff and he's been a legend in the game. Ascot race 4 is the first race that we're going to have a look at here, Trav, and Super Spink is the favourite, and I think it's an emergency for the Gold Rush, so a little bit of a caveat there to see if it gets a run, and it's been a bit of media chatter and controversy there because they could promote him into the race if they wanted to, but hasn't got a start just yet, so she is the favourite in the Starstruck Classic, $2.35. Rusty Dreams is $3.30. Yonga Lass, $3.44, Ollie, and then you've got Amber Glide, $7.50. Sounds like something else. But the replay we're going to have a look at here is Yonga Lass, and Willie Pike's making way for Ollie here.
Yeah, Ollie's picked up a couple of rides for Grant and Alana Williams on Saturday, and this is the first of them. Yonga Lass, you can see here in the Cerise, she gets right back to last, hooks to the outside, and it's probably one of the visually most impressive wins you'll ever see. It was backed up by the clock, though, really fast last 200 metres. You still struggle to believe she's going to get them here, and she runs over the top. This mare's won 4 of her last 5. She keeps going through the grades, keeps winning from tough positions. I think barrier 1 here is not a bad draw for her with Oliver in the small field. And if she can get the gap, she's got that turn of foot to sort of make use of the split. And I thought Super Smink, if she stays at 1,600 metres, is just very vulnerable. I just don't think she quite sees out the miles. She would have been a good chance back to 1,400 in the Gold Rush, but the way that field's looking, she's not going to get a start. So she'll start short here, and I think you'll get nearly 350, 360 Yonga Lass. And on the way she's been going, I'm pretty happy to take that against the filly.
Yeah, it's the market won't risk it. And Rusty Dreams, D-Lane?
What's the other one that's certainly of interest? Getting up to the mile. D-Lane riding for his father, Michael, and this horse had 3 runs back. I just think on talent, Yonga Lass probably the slightly better horse going through the grades. But respect it, it's the other horse that could bob up. I don't know, it's a 7-horse race, and I'm like making chances for 2 horses, but I think you just want to be against the favourite here. She's going to start pretty short, Super Smink, probably around that 210, 220 range, and I think you can back definitely Yonga Lass to beat her.
Outstanding. Oh, fingers crossed Ollie can get the saloon passage from barrier 1 and slightly different circumstance compared to sort of roaring down the outside. So Ollie fans, load the cannons. Race 4, number 5, Yonga Lass, and 340, round 360 is good shopping, and Trav's in some sort of form. The next race we're going to have a look at is the feature, the $1.5 million Gold Rush. I think they're calling it the Damien Oliver. And the favourite here, markets are all over the shop here. If this is correct, 18 to 550 seems an interesting move. Ripcord 550, Super Smink 550, Ayrton 480 out to 750, Bustler 850, Munamek 850, Valorod 950, Dom to Shoot $10, and Red Cam Man 13, Baby Paris 16, Massimo 21, and Resort Man, Laver Rod all share that quote, and then you're getting a long way out of the market there. A couple of replays we're going to have a look at here is Dom to Shoot in the Northerly. He's been pretty good the last 3 runs, hasn't he, Trav?
Yeah, he's been super. Chased Valor Road 3 starts ago at 1,400 metres, and then didn't have the best of runs through in the railway, got the gun run here and was able to capitalise with Zaki hitting the front at the 200, but runs him down. 3-year-old to his inside, Zipaway had a gun run also, and he's just racing super consistently. His last sort of 4 ratings are all very, very similar, and I think he's the best horse in the race, and he's just won his Group 1. I don't think back to 1,400 metres is a bigger problem for a horse like him as a few in the race. He's going to be back anyway, and there's strong speed on paper. He'll be just, still coming to the line. Just whether he's quite sharp enough back to 14 off the 1,800 metres. But I thought $10 or near enough to still too long for the best horse in the race. And the wide draw isn't as bad a situation for him because he'll just be able to blend into the race. As say a horse like Bustler, who's an acceleration horse, has made use of good draws in the railway and the Northerly. I thought he was a bit more punished by the wide gate, and even Valor Road in barrier 16, who's going to have to do a bit of work to get across. So of those horses up the top, the class horses in WA, horses 1, 2, 3, I thought Dom to Shoot profiles the best of those on the quick backup.
I think you've absolutely nailed that. Laver Rod is the roughie. Craig Williams takes the ride. Let's have a look at his last start in the Winterbottom.
This race was run really slowly, and there was a lot of speed on paper, and it didn't eventuate an overpass. Given a great ride by JP, wins the race. Look at Laver Rod, though. He's back in the black sleeves, sort of slicing through horses. This race shape just didn't suit him at all. He hooks to the outside here of the 3-year-old Ripcord is just in front of him in the pink. And his last 100 metres is pretty good. I think this horse is going a lot better than his sort of recent form suggests. He just hasn't had race shapes to suit. He now gets Craig Williams on, and he'll be in the 3 wide line, perhaps in front of a horse like Dom to Shoot. He's got a great record at this track. I think he's flying under the radar. He's the best roughie in the race for mine. He's got performances capable of winning a race like this, and I think on the back of that run in the Winterbottom, he could be the one that can sort of come out of the cannon, if you like, ready to explode there on Saturday, because he just hasn't had much luck his last 2 starts in slow run races. I respect Ripcord, the 3-year-old. He was really good in the Winterbottom through that same replay, but he's probably tight enough at about 550. There's been some interesting moves, as you said, Scooty. Like Comfort Me's been smashed in the betting off the railway. He's a pretty handy horse, but I'd say a horse like Dom to Shoot's definitely going better this preparation. Comfort Me has been set for this race. I thought both the Victorian horses have it up against them, Ayrton and Muhammad. Just on ratings I've been using, they're a little bit off the mark, and they're both drawn pretty average. Ayrton, I'd lean to of the pair, but I would be surprised if Ollie's winning his own race here with Muhammad. He's got a huge task from the outside gate, having to go right back, I would have thought.
Oh, yeah, I was a little bit, yeah. I'd probably prefer backing Munamek over 1,600 metres. I concur with that Ayrton would be the best of the challengers, gets D-Lane for the first time, but I pretty much agree with everything you've said about those two horses. Laverod looks insane odds at $21.05 the place, and Dom to Shoot seems forgotten. The only chink probably with Dom to Shoot, he does have to face these horses like Ripcord and Laverod, who are jumping 1,200 metres to 1,400. They might just have a bit more ping in the leg still, and he might be just a little bit dour. Has anyone else got thoughts down in Melbourne probably about this race? You had a look? Or...
Yeah, I had a brief look, but yeah, it did seem a race that the Perth horses could really figure in, like they have all carnival. Ayrton and Muhammad, they're probably, they're not Group 1 horses, are they? They're probably a few runs below that. So, you're coming up a horse against like Dom DeShoe just beat Zaki, so that looks good form. But I did hear Simon Miller on the radio really tipping up Valor Road, so he was giving it a great chance on the radio, but he's got a tricky map as well. So it's a good race, the Gold Rush. It's been a good initiative, attracting some good fields, and obviously people are keen to run in it for that big prize money, but it looks a little tricky, I thought.
Looks an absolute belter, absolute cracking race. And I don't really just like saying this, but Ayrton's is definitely back, but yeah, I don't know if he's suited in this sort of the weight scale.
Yeah, well, you've always just got to keep in check your bias towards finding roll the dice horses. You've always been a big fan.
All right, we might just skip along there, but anything else around the edges, Trav, or are you just going to nail two winners and send us off in fine fashion? You've been carrying us the last couple of weeks, to be honest.
Yeah, I have. Race number 5, though, Captain Pluto. This is a horse that used to be with Trenton Nat. Now with Grant and Alana Williams, had a couple runs in Perth, gets to 1,800 for the first time on Saturday. I think he'll be Ollie's final winner. I reckon Ollie's been given the keys to a horse who's just absolutely ready to win. He's going to be the best bet of the day. That's race 5, Captain Pluto.
Race 5, number 2, Captain Pluto. Ex-Trent Nat.
Has it improved since it left Trenton Nats there, Trav?
I'd probably say not, DK, but
right,
it's ready to do something now, third up.
Outstanding. Ollie's last winner, Ascot race 5, number 2, Captain Pluto. We shall see. Barrier 11, but fantastic tipping, and can't wait to see you in the new year. Have a great break, and appreciate your work on the show. Thanks, Trav.
As if he's having a break, mate. As if he's having a break. He'll be finding winners everywhere. He loves it.
I was going to say no breaks here, but yeah, I'll catch you boys in the new year. Hopefully, we can send off with a few winners.
Exactly. He'll be into the puntingform.com.au. He's a big punting form man. And if you want to take the next step into becoming a serious punter, make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. Once you get your head around the class and performance benchmarks, doing the form fast and easy will happen pretty quickly. And I'd be surprised if you don't blow your mates out of the water who use RaceNet and the racing.com form guides. Donnie is having a bit of a break this week, so only going to announce his best. He had Willinga Freefall last week, and he's someone who's not taking a break. He's Donnie. He's betting like an absolute maniac at the moment.
Break, mate, he takes 23 milliseconds to shoot his tips out. What is he taking a break from? What is he? Oh my God! Pressing the record button.
He's a fast mover and crunches so much form. He's crazy. Eagle Farm race 6, number 12, Light of Boom. There's the horse here that he likes. So I think it's from the Campton stable. It's been maybe 750 into 550 early, so on the move, and has got some pretty strong form and maybe a drop back in class.
I don't know the horse.
Yeah, I'm not completely across it. Haven't got there yet. Our top 2 special last week, Burrendana and Willinga Freefall. So Walt let the team down. This week We'll do Running By and potentially I haven't picked the second leg, so that'll be up on the TopSport website soon, and we'll throw it in the email as usual. So we'll try and get our second leg. Just don't know if we want to go very, very short with Walt's tip
it's not going to help
in the
much.
First. That's not going to help us at $1.30 top 2, is it?
No.
Maybe. Just get a little banker. Top Sport Steam Race 1, number 2. I'm Keno is the first one, or Keno. $110 at $20. No idea this horse.
I'm Ken enough.
I'm Ken enough.
Don't expect any of you lads to get the reference there, but
what's that? What's that mean?
It's from the Barbie movie.
There we go. Right, okay.
Is that? Yeah, right.
There you go, Nico. There he is.
It jumped out okay. Maybe an owner's bet.
Are you tipping the film?
Barbie?
Yeah.
Not tipping it, no.
Seen it 7 times, but not tipping it.
It's watchable just for Margot Robbie, isn't it? It's Margot Robbie. She's an absolute Miss World.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever watch it. Randwick Race 4, number 4, Road Bear, $150 at $17.
Yeah, it's going well enough. I think I'm definitely not going to knock it at the price line. Finding sort of horse gets the right run, he's got a chance for sure. It's a very tough race.
Is this the first time it's been to 2,000 metres? Because it's been crying out for 2,000 metres for a long time.
It was close to 2,000 last start, I think, off the top of my head, but I haven't got anything in front of me. But I don't think it's a massive step up, but it's definitely fit enough. So. And the rate, like Toes on the Nose, has just been given the best ride you've ever seen. Last 2. Kapakiri's not much good. Lyrical Gangster's going to be last. Probably the one to beat still, but going to face a task. So it's a race to go looking. And Gate 4, definitely not knocking it, that's for sure.
That's the sort of horse I think they've been playing tricks with early in its prep. It's sort of...
I think it surprised them how good it was. Like, I think they'd sent it to Taree or something first up, didn't they? And I remember that... they put the kid on it, and I was just worried that he might get lost around Taree, and it gapped him there, and it sort of just stepped up to the mark. And then it ran really well in one of those, I don't know what it was, the 50 diamonds, 33 diamonds, 9:15 diamonds, whatever it was called, one of those races that ran okay in, and it just keeps sort of stepping up. So
the stable's just absolutely flying. How good's Kay Lee's going? They are dynamite.
Yeah, if you want to watch a clinic, watch last Saturday from them in just about everywhere in Australia. Their horses were running through the line, so yeah, it's definitely a good pointer. If you half like one and the stable's airborne, nice draw, they can usually outperform.
Yeah, a bit of a setup camp too. So go looking and don't be afraid to back them at odds. Race 7 Gawler is the next one here, and it's race 7 number 14 Divine Fire, $200 at $26. So now into $15. Got the big duck egg, William Clark and Nicky O'Shea. And surprisingly, I haven't got to Gawler just yet, which is disappointing, but a lot of lightly raced horses there. So.
Weak performance from you, pretty much.
Yep, terrible. And the last one here is race 10, number 18, Show High, named after the baseball player. $500 at $8 in Caulfield race number 10. Nico.
Still an emergency, so I think she's got to get a run, but they've held her back, obviously. I think she was in at Ballarat last week, and I think she's in Sydney as well. So they've had a few options, so they're obviously looking for the right race, but... she doesn't even got a start yet, so that would be her biggest issue, I would have thought.
It looks like a deep race. I thought Prowling might be a forgive back onto a drier surface, a horse that I tipped maybe last start with it, and looks a really tricky deep race, I would have thought, that one. And Lafargue was pretty good last time when it sort of let him up, so I'd be interested to see how the track's playing by that stage. So, yeah, Show High. You had the funny one with the Show High, didn't you? Well, they're going to make it was the biggest contract ever in baseball history, and they're going to make all the money back on merchandise.
Yeah, so yeah, it was similar to, I can't remember, was it Beckham or something? I think they paid him $300 or $400 million and made it back the first week. They've given him, I think it's $600 million at Tani, and I think they're already a long way. There's already broken records for Fanatics, which haven't had the contracts that long, but yeah, they think they'll pay off the $600 before he steps on the mound for the first time, and then he's got 10 years to work it off with them.
Last time I did I've got the shirt in the cupboard actually. I got one of the last mint condition DK shirts when he's cussing on the balcony. When we did the DK merch launch, it went like hotcakes.
That's right. They were sold out, Scoot. You did well hanging on to one of them.
I held on to one, and I just got it in a larger size, knowing that I'd blow out a bit.
I've still got the original footage, and
might have to toy it.
Most importantly, I've got the audio. So anyone who wants the original, I can
just give it another
coming
spin.
Up the Magic Millions anniversary of that too. Yeah, the balcony bloody Walt got me a beauty.
Give it another spin. Universally was a good winner at Moonee Valley last week, DK. So a little bit of a
yes, was nice hit the target there, Scooty.
You're back.
Perfect, just found the 1-1 from D Bates and chased the favourite home. The favourite actually went better than I thought it would have. Thought it might have put a hole in it, but kicked on strongly. So, that was good. Market agreed. Everything lined up, that's good. Smashed in the market and gets the 1-1 and got the money. So this week, actually, one that was in that race is the tip this week. We'll stick to the Mole Maidens and... We'll go to Cranbourne, pardon me, Friday night. A thing called Kuro Shinzo. Kuro Shinzo is on the back up there, off running, I think he ran 4th in that race, the Universally race on Friday night. It was a good run too, he got held up. The backup, I like the backup here because, particularly with Luke Oliver, he's very sort of looks after his horses, he's kind to his horses. So it must have come through the run in flying colours and didn't have a hard run. Got to the line, best of the race in that race of getting held up. It's good form. There's good margins of the race. I've got a good opinion universally. So Gate 1, D Stackhouse, all looks good for it. There's no market yet. They said there's 3 meetings. They've only got Mooney Valley up. But Kuro Shinzo's the first tip. The second tip is a TV show called Bookie. I don't know if you found it yet. Bookie. It's on Foxtel, and I think it's on Binge. It is sensational. It's about this bloke. He's a bookie in the US, and he the first couple of episodes he's just chasing all the degenerates who are betting with him on the blue, who owe him and everything. And he's got his muscle man Ray goes around with him, and it's Chuck Lorre who did the Charlie Sheen show, whatever it was.
2.5 Men.
2.5 Men, right? He's the man in charge there. And Charlie Sheen's actually a recurring guest in this. Very funny, and he's given the writers just some heaps of poetic license just to go on with all the characters. So it's an absolute pisser. So if you can find it, Bookie, tipping it.
How are you watching it, DK? It's
Foxtel.
hard to find.
I'm watching on Foxtel. It's just popped up on Foxtel.
It's on Netflix, I think. Yeah.
Right.
Foxtel, but yeah. So I just clicked it on Foxtel. No, very, very funny Bookie. So
I thought it was too obvious and no one had tipped it to me, so I've never even gone into it because I was like, surely this show's called Bookie and no one's told me to watch it. It must be terrible. So now I have to have a look.
You'll piss yourself off. Very funny.
Outstanding. So Cranbourne Race 4 on Friday, number 4, Kuroshinzo, and the show tip is on Foxtel and it's called Bookie. So nice little double act there from DK. And yeah, I'm a bit behind the 8 ball this week, trying to catch up on tapes in the last couple of weeks. The only horse that stuck out like dog's bollocks for me is Eagle Farm race 9, number 4, Far Too Easy. That'll be in a fair few of my multis. 1400, Jay Orman. It's off a bit of a break. It's trialled up okay. And Eagle Farm just looks like a beautiful recipe for it. It was last seen in Sydney in the Kosciuszko behind front page, and that was some sort of run that day. So if he's anywhere near his best, if he stays firm in the market and doesn't drift to $3, you can just keep piling on that horse. So I've got a bit of a chubby for that. So multi-magic for Scooty's Moral will be Far Too Easy. Hopefully he's Far Too Easy. All right.
I love it. I hope you go first race Randwick, 2-year-old $1.50 into last race Eagle, second last race Eagle Farm for your, that's just the greatest sweat of all time.
Nico's running by, so yeah, we'll just start to just brick on brick. We're just due for a bookie's complete and utter strip out. I'd love just to see every favourite win this weekend for Chrissy present.
If every favourite wins, I lose my ass.
That'd be good for the punters. The punters
I love they say that. I guess it does work because, especially Tote, it naturally is the most money goes to that horse. But I just every time you hear, especially Richard Callador, the punters again, the $1.70, get on, boys. It's just like you want to throw up.
I'm surprised you have the sound up for Richie.
It's usually like tail end of the race, and then you get it back on mute. I can't believe you've just chimed me into that to end the show. What a dog.
Oh, you led yourself up the garden path, and I'll just push you head first.
Roll the dice.
It's going to be. We're still going to keep betting, so we're going to have some sporadically. If anyone's got some best bets or some ammo to keep you guys going over the break between now and Magic Millions time, I'll send out a weekly email. We'll put the hat round, and if anyone's got something that they think is value, we'll definitely send it through the email. So check your Little Birdie emails each week, because the show will stop until Magic Millions. So big thanks to all the cast and the crew that put the show together, all our major sponsors. It's been feels like a massive year, and it's only going to keep getting bigger and better. So fingers crossed. You have a great weekend this weekend. But a safe and happy Christmas with all your family. Enjoy the break. If you need to put the gun down, make sure you have a break off the punt and come back with a bit between the teeth for Magic Millions on this great Gold Coast track that we've got up here. We'll see you boys down in Melbourne soon.
Down in Melbourne.
Catch you, lads.
Yeah, I'll see you up there.
You're going to come to the Magic Millions?
I'm coming up, 6 to the 16th we're up. Yeah, this year, we'll be up there. Bringing the family up. So, coming up for a visit. So, family holiday up there this year. So, catch you then.
All right, I'll make sure the phone's on and get the barbecue ready and the steaks and the snags, and I'll see you there.
Lovely. Hard to beat.
Outstanding. All right, good luck this week on the punt, and we'll see you soon.